The British government has announced plans to make the UK the world's first net zero aligned financial centre as companies and investors seek to profit from the drive to build a low carbon economy. Well, let's hear more now about Britain's plans to make the world an even greener place from our science correspondent Jeremy Wilks. Jeremy, we've seen Rishi Sunak, the UK Chancellor, announce these plans. Tell us more about what he wants to do.
Today, basically, the theme at COP26 is show me the money. It's like that scene in Jerry Maguire, basically. Everybody's shouting down the phone saying, show me the money. And Rishi Sunak is coming forward and saying he wants to make the UK this net zero economy, and he's got companies worth $120 million in assets who are behind this deal. And he says also, to tackle criticism of greenwashing, because we know that's going to come, that he's going to kind of create a gold standard for this kind of net zero ambition in the finance side, with a team of people who are from the finance world, from the corporate world, but also people who are academics and scientists and people from civil society who'll be validating all of this. That hasn't stopped necessarily criticism coming in. Greenpeace UK said that the plans from Rishi Sunak offer too much wiggle room, that the firms who are part of this kind of net zero effort are also still going to be able to invest in fossil fuel projects, which isn't aligned at all with net zero for 2050, as we know. But overall, we're seeing here today at COP26 part of a general movement towards greening the finance sector. We're also going to have announcements from Mark Carney, former governor of the Bank of England, who's now a UN Special Envoy on climate action. He's also brought together 450 companies from around the world with a similar figure, $130 trillion worth of assets behind it, all of whom are moving towards this net zero goal. So as I say, it's part of a general shift in that direction. The finance sector has understood that it needs to be part of the solution.
Indeed. Well, as Rishi Sunak said, climate risks equate to financial risks. So let's talk now about that big figure. We're only 3 days in, that 100 billion euros, which the poorer countries, developing nations have been calling for. Where are we with that right now?
Yeah, so that's quite a different theme. This is to do with money from countries rather than companies to poorer countries in order basically to pay for the pollution debt. You know, the richer countries have managed to get rich on fossil fuels and polluted the atmosphere, and the poorer countries are paying the price. And in Copenhagen at the COP in 2009, there was a pledge to give 100 billion euros per year to the poorer countries to help them out. That by 2020. That didn't happen, and we are now getting closer to it. Japan has come forward and said it's going to give an extra 10 billion in climate finance over 5 years. Italy has also tripled its amount of money in climate finance it's going to be putting forward. John Kerry, the US climate envoy, says we're probably going to get there. And what's important about this, okay, the figure is not actually big enough. Lots of people say in developing countries it's nowhere near big enough, but it's symbolic. You know, COP is all about trust, about the conversations, the eye-to-eye conversations that people have. And if they can get to this 100 billion target this week and say, OK, that's across the line, it's late, but we're there, then at least there's going to re-establish a kind of confidence between the richer countries and the poorer countries and move forward. And then the discussion needs to go into what are we going to do from 2025 onwards, and how much more money do we need to put into, particularly adaptation as well as mitigation, which is reducing the greenhouse gas emissions.